Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies, a podcast where we discuss all things related to the Happier in Hollywood podcasts
We're sisters
and super fans.
who can't get enough happier.
So we created our own podcast to keep the conversation going.
I'm Malika Amandi, a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a new mom, and an entrepreneur. I'm here with my sister, Azizi Williams.
That's me. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a not-so-new mom, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world.
In this episode, we'll touch on our happiness projects revisited and compare notes on the Happier in Hollywood episodes from the last few weeks.
Malika,
Yes,
July has flown by.
I know.
So many wonderful, amazing things happened, but we never paused to update everyone or update each other on our happiness projects revisited.
How's it going for you?
I think all things considered, I made some progress. I think it's going okay. So that's short answer
good.
is it's going okay. July was the month of creativity, and I did mostly the things that I said I was going to do. So I was going to write about my role in kind of a creative way, and I did that. Well, I started it. Let's just say that. I started an outline.
Okay.
I identified also a journal that I can potentially submit to. So I have kind of a deadline to continue working on it. So we'll see how that goes. But the working on it was fun because you were right across from me. We had a co-working situation. I was so sad because I didn't think I was going to have time, and like you made it happen, and that was perfect.
Well, I'm glad I could be involved.
The other thing was a photo book party. I was going to let it go, and then you were like, "No, we have to do that." I was going to make some progress also, and so you and I brainstormed, and you told me what you wanted to do, and we made a plan, and we had a time, and I made progress, and then I went back at it, and I actually completed a book that was sent to me yesterday and is beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I have a whole book, Malika. It's a whole book.
That's amazing. My hat is off to you because we sat there together and I didn't get very far and I don't have a book. I don't have anything to show, but I'm really impressed and just gold star to you for totally following through. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I have a whole book. And the thing is, I don't sleep. So that helps.
Okay.
Well, you would say, I'm tired now, I'm going to bed, and I would be up for like another 3 hours. So that's the secret is don't sleep, and then you can get things done. But yes, and actually the book kind of helps me with August. I'll talk about that later. The museum, we went to museums with the family reunion, so I guess I did that, but it wasn't the museum going that I had envisioned. I envisioned
Hmm.
like on my own, exploring new museums and getting inspired and things like that. That didn't really happen. So mostly great.
Okay. I think you knocked it out of the park. You
Wow.
finished the photo book. That's great.
2 out of the 3 things, you were right there with me. So I give you some credit for my progress because that was hugely beneficial to have you right there.
All right. Well, for me, I don't feel as positive or proud of myself, but my goal was kind of to move the needle on this Operation Actor Identity and kind of go to a workshop or a class and then chip away at some of the administrative tasks I have to kind of get my materials back up and running. And I made a list and I had some more ideas, but I did not take any action on those ideas. So the class I was interested in, it turned out the timing didn't work out. So I couldn't do that. And I'm not going to beat myself up about this, though, because I don't want to beat myself up ever.
Don't beat yourself up.
But I think the month just ended up being very full with other things. So there's nothing I would have traded to make the space for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just didn't quite happen. I still have my list, and I did have a serendipitous meeting with someone who lives in my area who I knew from like a mom and baby thing. And it turns out they work in the theater department at the university that I work at, which is like a great
Oh.
contact. So that was fun and gave me another thing to put on my list. You know, she offered to give me a tour. And so that I felt was timely, but I wouldn't say I really experienced creativity necessarily.
Well, listen, you were at the photo book party and you
I would
started to gather ideas. and you narrowed things down and you researched some sites, right? So that counts.
Okay, you're pulling me out here. Thank you.
You're
You're pulling me
welcome.
up.
There's some, like, really good getting ready that happens in
Lots of getting
July.
ready.
That's good.
Yes. So, tell us about the theme for August.
Right. So August is all about love and either love for your sweetheart or love for your community or a group that you're a part of. So we're in August, full disclosure. August
Yeah.
is now happening. And it actually happens to be my husband's birthday is in August. This is his birthday month. So it lines up very nicely with a time when I should be really nice to him anyway. He's my sweetheart. So back to the photo book, I made a photo book of our wedding photos and I gave that to him and he loved it. So that was one thing. And his birthday is coming up and I don't have a solid plan. Malika, he likes surprises and I
Oh,
don't like surprises, but I feel like
okay.
because he likes surprises, I should surprise him somehow. And I don't know. So by the time this month is done, I should have surprised him somehow. I don't know what it's going to be, but something nice for his birthday. We'll see. I'll report back later.
That's a fun assignment. A little pressure filled, but potentially fun.
Do you like surprises?
I think I'm in the middle.
Uh huh.
It depends, which is not a great answer for people who know me. There's been very few times when I've been surprised where I haven't enjoyed it. So maybe I do like surprises.
Okay. In general, I think they're overrated. Maybe
Mm.
that's a questioner thing. I don't know. But because he's always trying to surprise me, I believe that he
Yes.
likes surprises. So, what are you going to do, Malika, for August?
So again, I've got a couple things in mind. One of the questions in the reflection stood out to me, which is like, what makes you feel loved?
Hmm.
And I think for me, it's being known.
Mhm.
So, not through design, but through serendipity, I've had some opportunities to connect with like really old friendships this month
Hmm.
and like spend quality time with a couple of folks who know me really well. So, I'm leaning into that. And I think that reminds me that it takes time and effort to kind of get to that level with friends.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to try to be maybe a little more revealing with a newer friend this
Hmm.
month to kind of move in that direction and building my community of people who know me here.
Hmm.
And then the other piece, this is more of planting future seeds, but one of my 24 for 24 goals is to do 4 quarterly getaways with my husband.
Right.
So we've done 2. So I want to try to map out the other 2, at least like put them in the calendar and then plan. That's what putting it in the calendar means.
Mhm. Another way of saying that.
Maybe not the next 2, but the next one.
Okay.
I'll take responsibility for
I
that
like how
to
you
like
made the adjustment. You brought it down to a manageable level.
calibrate. So yeah, I want to map that out.
So by the end of August, you will have a plan for your next getaway with your husband.
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
You see all my tentative language?
Now it went down even from 2 to 1 to maybe. I think you can do this. You can definitely do this.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll report back how August went and what our plans are for September, but I feel good about all of our ideas. I think a lot of love will be in the air.
Yes. Love is in the air. Azizi, what happened on Happier recently?
So, on Happier, in episodes 493 through 494, Gretchen and Liz shared insights from their sister adventure. They discussed new uses for the five senses framework. Gretchen had a conversation with Jonathan Van Ness, and she ponders questions regarding the open door phase.
So, what stood out to you?
So, Jonathan Van Ness right away talked about his article that came out in Rolling Stones, which I haven't read, but I heard about, and it was like an unsavory portrait of what he was like or what he's like to work with from, I don't know,
Mm,
sources. I don't know if it was credible or not credible, but I really appreciated that he just shared about it because the topic of the conversation, this is a part two in a conversation that they're having with each other about goal setting and about their 24 for 24. So for halfway day, Gretchen and Jonathan were checking in on how things were going. And he was talking about how it threw him off. And
mm,
then he shared some of the things that he did to kind of get back on track again. And again, it reminded me of Annie Lamont and the shame spiral and having a predetermined plan ready so that you can draw on when you're in those kinds of situations. So I
mhm.
really appreciated that about the conversation.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was a snippet from Gretchen appearing on his podcast. It
Right,
was Gretchen in the guest mode,
right,
which usually we see her as the person asking all the questions. And it's just interesting to see when she's the expert on a show or the expert guest and kind of really giving advice, like in her, and I say happiness bully in the most affectionate way,
right. Yeah,
in her happiness bully element to kind of diagnose and help him figure out his situation, and he was very vulnerable and open
yeah.
with her. And so it was just, I don't know, a reminder to me of how kind of important these conversations are and really thinking about how we can support ourselves in the things that are hard or when we're, facing adversity. And I guess I kind of take it for granted because we listen to Happier all the time and we talk about it, we debrief it.
Yeah.
But to hear kind of somebody outside of that world coming in with these questions, it just reminded me like, yeah, this is really our lives that we're talking about, our day to day and our emotional lives, and that can really impact the quality of your experience.
And why we love Gretchen so much and why we love
Yeah.
the happier world is because it gives us these opportunities, these skills, these tools to have conversations about when things go well or when things don't go well and set goals and to revisit. And it did, for me, remind me of why this is so great and why we continue at it.
Yeah.
Jonathan also talked about a lot of what he was feeling like he had made progress on was related to social media and his social
Mhm.
media habits and scrolling. And Gretchen was really trying to help him have some realistic goals and to kind of understand what the barriers were and how to create friction. And it made me wonder, Malika, what's your relationship to social media?
Oh, that's a good question. It's there. It's kind of not, I don't want to say we're estranged, I guess.
You're
Like,
strange. Did you break up or you're just not talking to each other?
no, no, there's been no intentional, like, maybe we've just drifted apart, I guess. And then every now and then I'm like, "Oh, yeah," and I try to, like, find something or something reminds me of something, and I go on Instagram, and then there's, like, all these messages I didn't respond to, and it's like, "Oh, let me get out of here. It's too crazy." So, a lot of misconnections, I'll just say.
Okay, I like this social media as a partner, a former partner in your life. That's so interesting. Yeah, I have the scrolling problem. I definitely do.
Mm.
And it's Instagram and it is no one I know. It's mostly animals. And they are so cute. I have to keep looking at more of them. So I don't have the problem of like, did I respond to this person, that person? No, because I don't ever respond to anyone. Like I'm not on social media for that. It is all the cute things that are out there to see, and I wanna see them all. It's like I think it's kind of like my overbuying tendency to just want to get to the bottom of everything that
Mm.
then it gets exhausting. So I could relate to some of what he was saying. I don't have the issue of people trolling me or anything like that, but yeah, it's definitely a thing to contend with for a lot of people, not for you. It sounds like you have a healthy distance right now. I like that for you.
That's funny. Scrolling cute animals. Is it actually a problem or just a fun thing that you do?
Well, the problem is that I should be reading a book or, doing something else more
Okay. You
productive with my
would
time. That time over a long period adds up, and
Got it.
it's like watching TV. It's benign. It is bringing my mood up, and there's a time and place for it, but sometimes it feels like I don't have control over, can I be making other choices right now with my time?
Got it.
I'm so aware of like, oh, the next one, oh, the next one, oh, the next one, like that feeling.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Sarah Hart Unger on the Best Laid Plans and how she senses a feeling in herself towards different kinds of social media, and then she just cold turkey quits. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
And so I definitely feel that with Instagram. Probably that might be good at some point, but anyway, it's animals. It's not terrible.
Got it. All right. Well, something else that came up for me. So, Liz and Gretchen talked about their sister trip, their hiking adventure, and one of the more happier episodes was a completely audio kind of diary, which we then paid
We
homage
did. We
to
tried it
in
out.
our own audio diary of sorts. And that got me thinking kind of what is your style for documenting a trip? Like, would you do audio again? Do you prefer photos or videos? How do you remember your experiences?
It's a good question. Definitely photo, but nothing fancy or very thoughtful.
Mm,
I will say I have fallen into the habit of being someone who takes photos of their food, which I
yeah.
used to roll my eyes at. But the reality is that I remember the trip by the meals.
Mm.
So if I just go back, like last year, my trip to Hawaii, I'll look at the food and I'll remember, oh, this is the day we did this thing. Like I remember everything else around that food, and it actually does help me remember. So I definitely take photos. I take a lot of photos of food and the fancy beverages that I like to order. And I journal. I journal
Okay.
quite a bit and try to every trip have a couple of points where I'm just jotting down all the things I remember or what stood out to me. What about you? What's your process?
So I like to take pictures. I do take pictures of food also, not religiously though. So sometimes I don't. It just depends. If the plate is speaking to me,
Okay.
I
Okay.
do like taking pictures of cocktails though,
Right?
which is funny. There's one friend that we have many ways of relating, but one of our things is that we always send a picture of a martini if we're drinking it to that person, like, cheers. So in our text thread, there's just like,
Just martinis.
yeah, it's like specifically a martini with like reading or whatever is going on. But
But of all the drinks, martinis don't look that different.
I
They
know.
mostly look the same,
And it has
right?
nothing to do with the drink itself. It's more of just like, oh, we're sharing this moment together. It's as if we're having a drink together.
That's sweet.
But I do have like Norm and I, when we have our date nights, like I'll usually take a picture of whatever beverages we have with like the background.
Yes.
So there's some fun pictures. I've wanted to make a calendar of those over the years.
Oh, that's a great idea. I have so many photos of beverages from Disneyland from all the different lands, different colors and umbrellas. I love that. I'm here for that.
Yeah. So speaking of Norm, he is a documentary filmmaker, like officially.
And his like real job.
In his real job. So anyway, he has a value for documenting things like taking photos, but also taking videos all the time. We might be out for a family walk or if we're on a trip and then he'll pull out his phone and be like, "So, where are we?" Like giving an interview kind of thing. I do play along. I also roll my eyes, but then they're so sweet to watch later. And he's gotten into the habit of like casting from your phone. If you have a smart
Right.
TV, you can
Yes.
cast photos on your TV. So we actually watch videos or we'll look at an album or something, photo album on the phone, but as a family on the TV, which is really nice.
Right when we got back from DC, like later that day, I heard video of Malika talking. And when I went to go look and see what you guys were looking at, it was these videos that Norm had taken of the DC trip. He was mirroring the photos and videos from the whole trip. And I have never done this in my life. I have never gathered around the television to look at photos of the trip, but it was very sweet. And what else are you doing with these photos? I take these photos and then what. Sometimes you might text them to some family members, but to actually look at them together was very sweet. It was like old school slideshow time. Kudos to Norm.
So, another way that I have been documenting trips has been using the 5 senses. So, I have a notebook on my Remarkable tablet, and I just have a page, and I'll put the city and the dates on the top, and then I just write down each of the 5 senses and do like a brainstorm around it. So, I'm not really writing sentences or anything, but just kind of stream of conscious little thoughts, and that it's just kind of a fun meditation because one thing will make me think of something I smelled, and then that makes me remember something I heard, and just as much as I can, but it's just 1 page, and then that's it. So there's, like, 5 pages in there now, but I don't see a reason not to just keep going anytime I take a trip. How have you been using the 5 senses?
Yeah, so I shared with Gretchen via email a way that I use the 5 senses framework, and she ended up reading my email on her podcast, which was very touching to hear my words read out loud. I shared with her about my close friend, Nobuko, who passed away last year in July after a long battle with cancer. And her family asked me to do the eulogy and to share some memories. And I was
Yeah,
just completely overwhelmed by that prospect and kind of didn't know where to start. We had met in high school and had so many years and experiences together. But I just thought about the 5 senses framework and just
mm,
similar to what you were saying, like I just jotted down all the 5 senses and as many things as I can remember, and then the memories just started flooding in, and I then was able to sort of think about and
yeah,
process what
it
were
was
the
a
things
really
that I
lovely
wanted to
note that
share
you
and have
wrote,
this well-rounded view of this person that I love so
yeah, I
much,
think it is a
and it
powerful
helped me
framework.
first just get started and, like, where to begin. It gave me a point of departure, and then I feel like it helped me to really share and celebrate this person with other people. I was really touched that Gretchen and Liz chose to read that and recognized how special that was for me also. Yes, so many uses, so simple, so elegant, and just timeless. I'll definitely return to that over and over again.
Gretchen shared a little bit more about her open door questions. She's really in the, like, investigation phase. What do you have to offer, Aziz?
It's exciting to hear her get so excited about this research phase, and she's, like, throwing a lot of spaghetti to see kind of what sticks, and one of the things she talked about was I think it was one of the first things she talked about. Again, I'm going through the open door phase. I'm getting ready for the open door phase. So this is my youngest daughter's senior year. And, things happen. Maybe she'll decide to stay home or I don't know, but likely she's going to be leaving next summer. And then I will have no kids living at home for the first time in a long time. So I'm thinking about this and I'm listening in, and I can't wait to hear what advice people give and what she comes to, what her findings are. But when I think about, she said some people look at it as a time to simplify and pare down and sort of streamline and maybe just reduce, versus others who want to use that time to go big and to do new things and to buy more or like abundance. So she sort of contrasts simplicity versus abundance. And when I thought about it, I think I want to go simplistic. I think what I'm hungering for is a quieter, not that things are loud, but just like a softer, I don't know, simple, streamline existence. It's weird because it's not like things are chaotic because as your kids get older, things get simple already, like hugely simplified. And they already have one daughter who's not at home mostly, but I think there's just an opportunity to have even more control of my schedule and do less. I don't have to do as much. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I think that's where I'm leaning. So I'm going to keep thinking about it.
I don't know that the abundance or the activity in your life comes from the kids. I think they'll leave and you'll still be
I
there.
know. Isn't that funny?
Overcommitment.
their fault. It's all the kids.
All right.
When they're gone, then I'm gonna be able to get a handle on it.
Hmm.
It's so funny. I have to evaluate that. I feel like 4 out of the 5 things I do in a day are for them somehow, or I think it's for them, or I do it in service of
Right.
them, but I could be wrong. So this is
Right.
a good time for me to, like, reflect on what's really causing abundance in my life right now, or what's really making things feel overly full. I'm the problem, it's me, probably is what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna think about it. So, Malika, something else
Hmm.
they talked about was setting up your space for success and how to just be intentional about your spaces to help with goals that you might have or solve problems. And that made me think of the time I spent in your kitchen and with your pantry.
Yes, you set up my space. It's nice. I wouldn't say I don't know that I've moved into any of my goals yet around cooking, but you've set me up well. Like, it's just a matter of time.
Well, it was a fun process, like, whenever cooking starts to happen, but just to start with, what do you want the space to do? And then to think about
Yeah,
what can we shift or change to allow you to do that in that space. It made me think of Home Space and Reason, which is a podcast we've talked about before, which I don't even know is still on, but she really believes that each space should just be intentionally designed for how you actually use it, not how you think you're going to use it, but how you actually use it, including your garage and your living room and your dining room. And I love that
yeah,
perspective.
yeah. A side note for Home Space and Reason, if you listen to it, I recommend listening to it at double speed.
She is a little slow. It takes some getting used to the pitch and the tone, but the content is really good.
The content is solid. But that also reminds me of something I think Gretchen shared in the conversation with Jonathan Van Ness, which was about figuring out kind of what the problem you're solving for actually is. And she was saying she had a friend who was looking for an apartment with a bigger kitchen or with a patio or something. And then she actually told the realtor, you know what? Actually, I think I want to be married. And it was like, uh, that's a different issue. But kind of realized in her quest for outdoor space, she actually was looking for something completely unrelated and different, you know? So I think
That's
it's always
right.
helpful to have those questions. Somebody asks those questions like, "Well, what are you really looking for?" Or just poking more, like, I think you asked me about
Yes.
why I wasn't cooking, and, like,
Yes.
one of the small things was like, "Well, we don't have a nonstick pan that works," which I wouldn't have thought of because it wasn't even on my list, but it's just,
Right.
like, one of the factors that's kept me from making eggs. And you're like, "Well, I'll get you some
Yes.
nonstick pans." But yeah, just I think I
Yes.
co-sign this, asking questions about your space. Yeah.
Ugh, questions are so powerful. And I will say there's something to someone else asking you the questions. There's some objectivity, and it allows you to kind of access parts of your brain that your brain just can't access on its own. So I highly encourage, yeah, getting help and getting someone else involved to help with that. Okay, let's take a break. And when we get back, Malika will share about what happened on Happier in Hollywood.
Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready to go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies. And we are back. So on Happier in Hollywood, episodes 377 through 378, Sarah and Liz discuss hiking gear, Uber gift cards, All Work August, and they celebrate their double roar.
Malika, one of the things they talked about, a continuing conversation about Uber Eats and Uber gift cards, which I have never received. I don't think I've ever gotten one. Have you?
I've gotten
Oh.
DoorDash gift cards,
Mm.
which is basically the same thing. And I think
Mm.
it's great. We got some for I think we actually put them on our baby registry.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's become my go-to gift, like for families who are bereaved, because it feels really practical in a way that there's nothing wrong with
Right.
flowers if
Yeah.
that's your go-to gift. But it's like the thing of bringing a casserole to somebody's house, like it's the very millennial version of that, which is like, here's some money for some food.
But that's a great idea. I mean, I think sometimes people think, oh, gift card's not
Right.
personal or it's not special. But man, I think mostly it's
Yeah.
appreciated. I think mostly then people can get what they want or what they need. There are some exceptions, like our father, who will never use a gift card. He just won't. There are some people like that. But mostly, I think it's appreciated.
Yeah. Especially if it's a service you know that they have and use, then it
Yeah.
can be kind of seamless, you know? You send it as a text message, it goes right into their
Yeah.
thing when they click on it.
And everybody has to eat, right? Like, we all have to eat. So
Yes.
that's a one size fits all situation.
Yes. What else stood out to you?
Right. So I was talking with a colleague of mine who's also in the independent school world and a leader. And she was sharing with me, we do this thing when fall is near and we're kind of catching up. We ask, how was your summer? And, how's transition to the school year going? And she said, I had this realization that June is all about ending the school year. August is all about starting the school year. So really, we just have July for the summer. And I was like, oh my goodness. And
Mhm.
she said, now that I know that and I've come to that realization, I'm going to think about July differently in the future. And I think I will too, because August is all work August in the school world. It used to be that school started after Labor Day or into September, but now it's more the norm that schools start, at least elementary school starts in mid August. And even before it starts, you have to bring back teachers and all this gearing up that happens ahead of it. So I'm in it with them. It's all work August for sure. And I'll think about my July next time differently.
Wow, I never really imagined that July would stand out in that way, but it makes sense.
I have this childhood notion of summer as 3
Yeah.
months. 3
Yeah.
months. It's not the case, actually. And to be fair, I really do appreciate that I have the kind of job that does slow down, recognizing
Right.
that most people don't have a distinction between summer or fall necessarily in their work. But because my work is at a school, I do have that benefit. And you have that too a little bit now, right, Malika?
I'm discovering. I am. I'm almost coming on my 1-year anniversary, so I have the full shape of the year now, and there's definitely some different cadence in the summer, which I really enjoy.
I love that. Something else I thought about listening to Liz go into depth about her hiking gear were some additions to the heat gear from our
Mm,
conversation last week. So, last week, Malika and I talked about the things that we were using that were in our arsenal to help combat the heat, being outdoors, enjoying museums and parks and things like that in the summer. There are some tools we've used that have helped us. Well, I added the BioFreeze rollerball to my arsenal, and oh my goodness, I love it. Malika, this came from a listener suggestion, I think, on Happier, right? Yeah, it was a listener who emailed in about this hack. And I just on a whim was at the drugstore and saw the roller balls, which are not very big. They're kind of pocket size. And I used it when I was at Disneyland a few weeks ago. and it was, 90 degrees. And we're outside, and it's the added benefit of addressing any pain and also cooling you down. The pain of the walking, 13,000 steps, but also it's hot and it immediately makes you feel cooler. So I love this tool and I'll be keeping it with me now.
I also bought a similar product. I think I got a generic brand, but it is pretty cool. Yes.
Inside and outside the house.
I haven't used it outside in the heat, but I've used it for just muscle stuff and inside, like, on a hot evening in the house, but so different, but, like, I see the value. It really does cool you down.
The other thing I tried an umbrella. I'm like, "Can I be a sunbrella person?" I think so. I tried it at the Huntington,
Yeah.
which is a very sunbrella friendly place, and my daughter who was with me didn't want to partake in the umbrella, so there was some distance between us, but I was definitely cooler. So, I'm gonna keep workshopping this. I'm not exactly sure, but it's like a big hat. It does work, but it's just, is this am I standing out so much? But listen, we have to normalize these things now. It's just hot and being comfortable and being willing to be outdoors still, I think we should just all embrace these tools.
So I have a couple hiking/heat related things that came up for me. One is Chub Rub. Looks like a deodorant stick. I use Mega Babe or Gold Bomb, but you put it on your thighs and it, yeah, keeps things smooth.
And you can put it other places,
You can put it
right?
other
It's not just
places.
your
For me, it's just my
yeah,
thighs, but, like, game changer. Because there was a while where, like, I just wouldn't wear
yeah.
shorts because it was such a hassle, and I would get uncomfortable, and then after finding this product, I'm free to wear shorts again and skirts and dresses. I don't like having stretch pants on underneath or whatever.
I'm a bike shorts person all the way.
Bike short person, but anyway, put that out there for Mega Babe or Gold Bond.
But Malika, do you have to how often do you have to reapply it?
I don't. I just once a day in the morning,
Are
and
you
then I'm
serious?
good.
You're not doing a lot of
Yeah.
walking then.
Okay.
I feel like it's like a thing you bring with you and maybe reapply it once or twice.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm not doing 13,000 steps around
But
Disneyland.
I hear you. It works for you. That's good.
It works for me. And then there's this other pants I was been looking for long, like, cotton tops and pants for Indigo that's, like,
Mm.
good for the heat, but also can protect him from mosquitoes, and I'll put it in the show notes. There's a brand I found on Amazon that has just, like, the cutest toddler pants, very affordable, lots of different colors, and they're, like, super light, which is good for this time of year.
I was there when he tried on his first pair and he was so cute. He was like kicking and
I
like
know.
walking different. I don't know. He was like sassy. He loved these pants. So they were really cute. Liz and Sarah talked about their double roar retreat. And I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I love a retreat. Maybe I have because I did a solo retreat and there was the whole treat yourself like a professor thing. I mean, I love a retreat. But then it made me wonder what makes a retreat a retreat? Like, what are the essential things that need to be present for a retreat?
I think we could do a whole episode on this. We should do a festival of retreats.
Okay. Is there enough there to do a festival retreat? Okay.
I think
What
there's
comes
enough
to mind for you?
there.
What do you think makes a retreat a retreat?
Well, the location.
Like, it needs to be someplace different than where you usually work. So you
Yes.
can't have a retreat at work.
No.
Then I'm doing it all wrong.
No, if it's a work retreat, we do those too. It needs to be in, like, a
Right.
different conference room or, like, someplace where you're not always meeting, because it's I think part of the newness of the space is what gets your brain thinking differently, and then personally, I feel like a retreat should always have some kind of snacks or special
Yes, I would
beverages
agree.
provided, but there's a lot of elements, the warming up, the reflection, some kind of structure.
An icebreaker. But do you think that Liz and Sarah had an icebreaker at their retreat?
Their Roar 24? Oh, probably not. I mean, you don't need an icebreaker for someone that you know. So, okay, there's different definitions for retreat. Like, I think there's a spectrum of retreats.
Okay. There's a retreat spectrum now. I think we should talk about this again because, like, I talked about my solo retreat and the things
Oh.
that for me made it a retreat. But yeah, there are times when I will have a retreat at work and we'll just go to a different place than we usually do, like you said, and it'll be a longer period of time. And I might bring little, like, battery operated candles and some natural things to turn the lights down, like to set the tone. So I would love to think more about retreats and the different kinds and the spectrum of retreating that you can do.
So, the final thing I wanna bring up from Happier in Hollywood is that Sarah mentioned this cheese board book, which she gifted to Liz, and I think she got it herself also. It's called That Cheese Board Will Change Your Life: Creative Gatherings and Self-Care with the Cheese by Numbers Method. What an amazing title, eh? I think cheese
Wow.
can do all those things, community and self-care.
Right, right.
But, I love a good cheese board, and I feel like it is a creative act, putting together a board of any kind, and slash but I think it would be exciting to have somebody tell me exactly what to do and what to buy and, like, see how that comes out, and then you can riff on it, but it just feels like a good book to have in your collection.
Once you master the fundamentals, right? Then you can be creative and riff on it. Well, I think you need this book. You made the most spectacular cheese board Thanksgiving that we ate up on the roof of the house and had this beautiful view of the ocean.
Oh,
It
thank
was
you.
like we were in
Yes.
Italy. It was fantastic. So, whatever will encourage you to do that again.
Okay,
You're welcome.
okay.
As long as we can sign you up again for the cheese board, then maybe I will buy this book for you.
Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will share our peaks and valleys. And we are back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and valleys. And Zizi, today is an even episode, so you are up first with a peak.
Well, seeing as the closing ceremonies were yesterday, Malika, I have to talk about the peak of catching the Olympic spirit. I caught it.
You caught it.
I caught it. I won the gold of the Olympic spirit
Yes.
because I set an intention. I put the opening ceremony on my calendar and then I watched it every night. I could not stop watching it. It was the most fun. And I remembered that, oh, it's been a long time since we've actually had a Summer Olympics with everything out, like with all of its glory because of the pandemic and the break that we had to take. But it's just so heartwarming, it's so exciting, it's fun for the whole family. I just really loved it. I loved watching it with you guys. When I was in your home watching the Olympics together was fun, and then when I was at my home continuing to watch the Olympics was fun, so I'm so grateful for that, for all the effort that everyone puts into it, and I don't know that this exists in the world, so
I enjoyed the Olympics too. You got me into the spirit. I probably would have just been on the fence, but you really kicked it off and made sure we watched the ceremony and then kind of just kept going. And so Norm and I kept going. And I love that there were just so many sports that I wasn't really
right.
clued into that I ended up watching and following. So we got really into the women's rock climbing, which was just like so fascinating and, like, I don't know, it was like problem solving, totally different type of sport. Yeah, it was cool though, and the breakdancing was just so good. I texted you like, "Are you watching this?" Because there were a lot of things that are not featured on the live stream, and I think in previous years before the Peacock app or whatever, you just didn't even see them at all, and so the fact that you could really just go in and look at this particular sport was pretty cool. So I feel like it expanded my awareness of all the different athletes out there.
And it's so funny, Malika, how instantly whatever sport I was watching, I was an expert. All of a sudden,
I
like, I've
know.
never seen a sport before in my life, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what the judges got wrong. Me like, I've never cared about this sport, but now I have to know this backstory of this table tennis champion. It's, like, magical how all of a sudden you're drawn in and you have to watch it to the end. Did you see the pole vaulter? Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yes, that was a good one.
wasn't that exciting? It's just, so many exciting things. So I loved every day of it. And Malika, it's gonna be in LA, 2028. I was so excited with the closing ceremony. There was the mayor of LA. She got the flag, and then Tom Cruise. Okay, I don't want to give it away. I'm not no spoilers, so you should watch the closing ceremony.
Gonna be kind of past by the time this airs, but
Okay, all right, but still, you should try to see the closing ceremony and the handoff. But I was thinking it's gonna be in 2028 in LA. That is a big milestone birthday for me. I'm gonna turn 50. Maybe I
mm.
set a 4-year goal.
Ooh.
Who will I be in 4
Ooh.
years? Like, what about be great 2028? I don't know.
What?
I'm in LA.
Okay,
I've
you're
already signed
blowing
up
my
for the
mind.
newsletter, for the alerts and things like that. I wanna be in a room. I don't care what the sport is. And then maybe I have some other goals for myself by then.
I love this 28, be great, 4-year cycle. Like, I've been thinking about that, having a longer time frame than the year. Like, I love that. So I'm thinking about your desire to run, that can be involved, but also I'm so curious, all of the officials who were in the, like, khaki pants and
Do
the
you
white
wanna be one of
shirts,
them, like
who
the
are
person
these
who looks to
people?
see if the swimmer touched the wall?
Or the person who's, like, holding the box
Oh,
that the medals
yes.
come from. I don't know, it feels like if you live in LA, there might be some opportunities. I don't know what's, required, but maybe you could get involved
Well, so in the
in
Los
the
Angeles
Olympics.
Times, there was an article. There are some stats about the number of jobs that they will be hiring for. And also, they shared some stats about how many people applied for the jobs for the Olympics in France. And I think it was something like 300,000 people applied for 50,000 jobs. I know, and like 188 countries were
Wow,
represented. I can remember
okay,
nothing, but why do I remember these random facts I just read this morning? But, there are jobs
right.
and or you can be a volunteer, there's a lot of ways to get involved. But 4 years, it's quite a bit of time and also not quite a bit of time at the same time, so it's something to think about. Circle back. What's your
We'll
valley,
come back
Malika?
to that for sure. Oh, my valley is
Oh,
baby sickness again. Indigo has something. And I knew it
mhm.
was coming because other
Pretty
kids in the class got it. So it's like
very
a wave that
predictable.
you can't hide from. It's just he's got this really, like, raspy, hoarse voice, which is just like, oh, it's so kinda
Oh.
cute, but it's also very like a cute little
Mhm.
frog. But yeah, it's sad, but it also sweet. It's not a huge there's no crisis, I'm confident he'll move through it okay and be fine in a few days probably, but I've recognized that it really impacts my whole mood for the
That is a
day and
valley. What's that
sense of,
saying?
like,
Like,
what's
you're
going
only
on
as
and
happy as your grumpiest child or something like that. Like, when you have a child who's not doing well, you're not doing well then.
right.
Like, that's rough. I'm sorry. I hope he feels better soon.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a
I need to
happier
come up with a
thought. What are
solid
you gonna
birthday
try
plan for
this
my
week?
husband. So I'm gonna do that right away.
Ooh.
Malika, what about you?
I am going to move forward on the getaway plans for my happiness project revisited.
Oh, good.
Celebrating love. Yes. Thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, rate,
Send us
review,
a
and
message
tell a
at
friend,
happierladies
and
at
don't forget to follow
gmail.com
us.
and tell us something you liked about Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum,
And we
our
also
theme
want to
music
give
was
a
created
special
by
shout out
Wyatt
to Gretchen
Muncie.
Rubin, Liz Kraft, and Sarah Fain for inspiring our conversation each week.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com.
Have a happier week,
All right,
Malika.
Azizi. Have a happier week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for just being across the table from me, creating the energy so that I could get to work.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.